Sally is the spirit of a way of living, because Sally is a heroine, but she's also, sallying into action. So there's a Sally in each of us.
And Sally is just the kind of character I want my child to be as Sally. I wish I was more like Sally when I was a child. A child who is not just a unit of consumption, but a unit of production. And that's what inspired me. And that is the kind of message that I want to give to the children of not just the Caribbean, but of the world.
Sally deals with challenges, like she takes them on, but she doesn't like to show it to other people. She doesn't like to worry other people. Like she doesn't want to worry Dan, Granny, or Marvin. She just keeps it to herself and she works it out.
Sally represents positivity for me. And she also represents the idea of, at any cost, keeping the family unit strong and together, right? Because her character is one that has quite a few odds to overcome, and she always looks for a positive outlet, a means to make things happen at all costs.
We don't have to have the dependency syndrome. People can help themselves. Sally shows them this by her creativity and by her resilience, being able to pick up something and run with it. So it shows that we can do much more with an exciting community structure.
And I think Sally also is that central core in all of us that forces us to sort of question who we are.
Yes.
And how we respond to people who are in difficult circumstances.
Means kind of like to be friends and be kind to others, and sometimes it comes back to you. Like how we start to be mean to Sally, and then Sally always kind to us, and then it bounced off on each other. So we start to be kind to Sally, and it regenerates. So it goes on and on and on, and it actually helps us with our friendship here, Offset. About self-respect, to be kind to others and like notice other people's emotions.
Sally may come from a very humble background, but she's very enterprising, she's very smart. Sally may be a dreamer, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she's also an action taker.
Sally was inspired by a group of children, in fact, and a group of us were down with a crew in Sealots, which is known to be a very marginalized and impoverished community in Port of Spain, Trinidad. And as we moved through the community, an entire army of kids came pulling a giant wooden wagon filled with buckets, and they were just so full of glee and delight as they pulled up to the village standpipe and started to fill the buckets and play in water as children all over the world do. And one thing struck me as I watched them laughing and teasing each other in the gorgeous sunlit community of Trinidad was that people are happy everywhere regardless of circumstances.
This is somewhat similar to my life growing up, and I was explaining to one of the directors in the show, I was like, but this show is like my life, you're telling my story. My relationship with my grandmother, whom I call mommy, is very important to me. I would have done anything for her, go anywhere with her, just to be next to her, because I grew up with her. So she's my mommy. Even though she's granny, she's my mommy. My experience using a standpipe was a great experience, because it's different from in a bathroom using a shower. A standpipe, the water is literally coming down hard on your head, and when it's coming down, your mind is erased, it's empty, it's just, you're like you're going into an adventure, you're in a waterfall, your own waterfall, and the water is just fluttering over your head, you're enjoying it, you're smiling, you're like, oh gosh, yes, you don't want to come out from it. I remember that.
Sally likes rain and she finds it fun, but I really don't like rain because it can get me sick. I like it now because I think it changed me. Sally changed me. She's just such an imaginative person, a fun person, and she changed me in so many ways. and Rain is one of them.
Granny is, well, she's a matriarch. You know, in this society, there's more or less the extended family, and that's very important in the family structure. And more so as my husband passed, I'm a widow, and I had just had one daughter, and she also passed, so Sally's very dear to me. So I kind of run the household. I'm in charge of everything.
Marvin is, of course, he's not a bad influence or a bad boy or anything like that. You know, he's actually, you know, entrepreneurial and enterprising, and he's also very helpful and very guardian-like to Sally, if you will. African tribal symbols, which I think are pertinent to the themes in Sally's Way. This is support. This is perseverance. You might probably make out that it's a turtle. This up here is courage. This up here is cooperation, which plays a very major role in the story. This is vigilance. It's a candle if you look at it. This is wisdom. This is greatness. The last tattoo I have on the back here, back of my neck, it is the Anansi symbol. It's a kind of, you know, flower or wheel, if you will. But we all know that, you know, Anansi is a very African and by extension very Caribbean symbol. So it's really a spider. But it also showcases another kind of wisdom and adaptability, which we see very much in Sally's character.
In this particular production, Sally's Way, I play the character of Dan. I'm sort of her father figure in this feature, and I kind of help her along the way as she continues to kind of try and get her goals achieved.
Dan is the man in the van.
Dan's a check for a fig.
Twirly and twisty were two screws. Mike goes to school on a bike. And Dan is the man in the van.
We're husband and wife. Actually, she's a lot younger than I am. I think our age difference is, what, 20?
Supposed to be.
Just about 20 years, and that's actually the same in real life. They sort of complement each other. They're quite different in many ways. Age is not the only difference. I think in the way they see life. Mr. Dindial is a quiet, soft man who has a lot of responsibilities in the village. He's a relatively successful businessman, but he's also quite a philanthropist. He's very, very kind. His wife, on the other hand, is young, and I think she represents the new thinking.
She's come from a certain background, a different background to her husband. She has come from a rural type village sort of atmosphere, and her education has not been quite as extensive as his. She's come into a lot of money. She didn't come from a lot of money. There are a lot of differences in her life now that she's a married woman that were not there when she was growing up.
I think the fact that he's so much older, he understands her dilemma because he's a very understanding man. He's very wise, he's successful. He doesn't have any hang-ups or anything of the sort. The fact that he took Sally in at the time that he did, I think is great testament to the fact that he's capable of immense kindness and understanding.
Yes, and I actually think those are so many of the qualities that his wife admires about him and wishes that she herself possibly could be operating on that level. But Sylvie Dindial's ambitions and her self-esteem, they're all so mixed up. She's got these grand ambitions, but it's coupled with very, very low self-esteem. So it turns her into a difficult person struggling with a lot of challenges, and she takes her pain out on the people around her, as evidenced by the way she communicates with her husband and aversion she has to the presence of Sally in her home, and her response to that, it's in marked contrast to her husband's response. And so it sets up a very interesting dynamic, the contrast, the differences, and the big question mark, why? Why?
I see a striking similarity between Mr. Dindial and myself, actually.
Do you?
Yes, the kindness. But
Ladies and gentlemen, Hansley Judah.
Crystal is the eldest between the two Dindial daughters, and she is very, like, she's more polite than her sister will be. She has a nicer attitude, but a kind of selfish, like, stuck up kind of way that makes her feel all, whoa, yeah, I'm a Dindial, I'm rich, I'm all of this. And my character is mostly, she's very close to her mother. She acts a little bit exactly like her. She may look a little bit, but she doesn't like Sally in a way, and she always wants things. She always wants jewelry or anything rich. So you can build like a relationship if Aliana has the same kind of emotions like me, and the same kind of feelings, and she loves the same things, then me and Aliana will be drawing closer to each other, and we know how to react to certain things because we are alike.
We have the same.
We're in common. So
Sally is the spirit of a little girl who won't be daunted by any circumstance in life. I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. You can't put that in. You know, this quiet little girl who just loved to read and write and speak to the air, different stories and characters, and put on any bit of cape or cloth she found and make it into something or someone, you know. And, you know, that's who Sally is to me. It's just, moving through life circumstances with courage. And not because you're so, you know, the beauty and the positivity of it doesn't come from a Pollyanna-ish kind of innocence. It comes from knowing the hardships of life in a very real way, but making a decision about that, making a decision about who you are and who life will be for you, or what life will be for you, so that you are no longer defined by, you know, outer circumstances, that the inner strength rises up and forges a way, you know, based on your own terms. So there is always something that we have access to that is self-determining, and I believe that is regardless of circumstance.
This is a family film, and I think that families should come out and see it because of the messages that are in the picture itself, right? The whole idea of making sure that the unit remains strong and that you do what you can to keep family in order. It's just a nice thing for, you know, you to come into the cinema, have a laugh or two, you know, go through Sally's life with her and just enjoy, because we really put together a really nice show for y'all, and I'm sure lots of people will enjoy it.
Well, I'm just telling you, come see Sally's Way. Make your way to Sally's Way.
And from Trinidad and Tobago to the world, Sally's Way is going global. So you have to go check on our website and all the other ways to find us, to find out where the world we are. We might be very, very close to you.
Keep checking Facebook because we're uploading photographs of all our cast and our crew hard at work at our exciting locations.
And when you join our mailing list at sallyswayfilm.com, we can send you new schedules, information about screenings, and any video on demand options that we have online. That is all good. The end.
Kiss will awaken. Must one so young pay for the blind?